to the world. Subscribe now to the Hot 97 YouTube channel. It's Ebro in the Morning with Laura Stiles and Rosenberg.
Ebro in the Morning, Laura Stiles and Rosenberg. Welcome to the program. We have Tamika Palmer and Bianca. Bianca, what's your last name again? I'm sorry.
Austin.
Bianca Austin. And
Yes.
you guys are sisters.
Yes.
Thank you for coming on. Tamika, first of all, just sending you love and light, and thank you for joining us. You lost your beloved daughter, Breonna Taylor, to a serious crime that we all, I think, agree was a crime and was a murder. And the first thing I just want to know from you is, how are you doing, handling everything, and also with that, how is it that you're able to join us here in New York City in preparation for this rally tomorrow right here in New York City?
I'm okay. I got a lot of good people behind me, so it definitely helps me out a lot. I'm able to do this. New York's been great to me through this process. So of course we just had to come in and do something here as well, because they've shown so much support.
How it's watching anyone go through a loss of a child is a horrible experience for anyone who's been close to it. It's just a brutal thing to see. And your situation is not only a shocking loss of the most important person in your life, but then to immediately be thrown or to jump into a social movement is such a unique experience. It hasn't been that long. Have you gotten any time to sort of just grieve this, or is it better for you, and has it been healthier for you to sort of focus on this movement and getting justice for Breonna?
I don't really think I've ever really fully grieved, just because, like you said, I'm in this whole movement now. I'm still figuring out what to do with that and how this person I'm supposed to become. But some days it's helpful, some days it's just March 13th all over again.
Bianca, you are also raised in Louisville, correct?
No, none of us were raised there.
Really?
No, we moved to Louisville from Grand Rapids, Michigan, to kind of start over and give our kids something different in life. So.
Wow. And how long have you lived in Louisville?
I've been there since 2007, and I moved in 2009.
How'd you guys land on Louisville? Why?
I had some friends that lived there, and I kind of, would go back and forth visiting them a lot. But every time I would go, there was like so many things that they were doing for kids there. So that was a big thing for me, because where we were from, not a lot was happening for kids. So it was important for me to, be able to show my kids that there was something else going on in the world.
So this incident happens with your daughter. I'm sure the young lady that you brought with you to have a different experience in Louisville, and it ends up being an experience where this corrupt police department storms into her home, shooting, looking for someone that's already been apprehended. And this is your worst nightmare. What did you learn about what had you learned about Louisville racism before this incident, and what have you seen since?
Well, I think racism just has been everywhere, no matter where we were. But so you deal with it. It's the thing that for us that we become accustomed to, that we shouldn't have to, dealing with the police and how to deal with them. But what I've seen different now is just people coming together, so many different types of people. Like, it's been overwhelming support of just all kind of people. So I've never seen that before in my entire life.
So that's the silver lining in some regard, is the coming together part.
Absolutely.
Do you believe that the way the case has been handled? I'm sure you saw Kenneth Walker's conversation with Gail King.
Yeah.
And in that conversation, he brought, and I had heard it, but seeing the police cam footage of the police officer coming to Kenneth Walker after he's been brought out of the house and dragged down the street, put in a cop car. Another police officer comes to him, being nice to him, and it appeared clean, trying to clean up for a mistake that they knew they had made. Do you believe the way that this has been handled is a part of a larger cover-up of police misconduct in Louisville?
Absolutely. There's no way that so many things in this one incident could have gone wrong. And it's been one cover up after another. Like I've never, you hear about these things, but to be a part of it, to actually experience it firsthand is unreal.
Obviously we only get to see the headlines, the news, whatever comes our way. And I just wanted to know the status of it, because first we hear about, this settlement, which I know is like, yeah, it's great, but it doesn't bring your daughter back, obviously.
Yeah.
So that's nothing. But then, we hear about one of the jurors wanting to speak out. Then, next thing you know, the other headline is, the Attorney General, Daniel Cameron, all of a sudden is filing some kind of motion, to keep them quiet. Where are we at now with the case?
There's a judge who was still deciding on whether or not that they would keep these people quiet, but it's just unreal, and I don't understand. For me, if you felt like you've done your job and you've done it the way that it should be done, why would you need to silence these people?
Oh, of course, we're with you 100%.
Can we talk a little bit about Breonna, the person? I mean, she's sort of become, as these victims have, like a mythical character. Like Breonna Taylor is a name that resonates so much in my heart, and I don't know her at all. What can you tell us about Breonna? What she was like as a person, as a daughter?
She was full of life. She was just so. God, I can say so much, but she was really a genuine person. She loved to be around people. Family and friends. She loved to bring people together. She was all about uplifting anybody around her. She wanted everybody to be great. She would help anybody, go above and beyond. And sometimes I'm like, sit down, leave people alone. But she had for you, that's just how she was. She was just, everybody loved her. She had an attractive spirit.
I mean, you guys seem, your energy, both of you, is so beautiful. So I can only imagine how warm and just inviting as a human being she was. And it's an honor, and hopefully, you can feel this, and both of you, as an aunt and a mother, can feel that this incident has actually, like you said, brought many of us together. It's also been a great awakening. We've had several, and we think, whether it was Trayvon, whether it was Tamir Rice, whether it was Eric Garner, George Floyd, your daughter Breonna Taylor, we continue to have these police killings, and we think that we're on the precipice of society waking up and understanding that these police and these institutions are corrupt, they are power hungry, and they are riddled with white supremacists and white supremacy. And I just hope that we're thankful, and I know it's weird to say thankful, but for you guys to come and have this conversation, and for your daughter's life to have galvanized people once again to continue to fight, right, and to give people just another reason to fight against this oppression that we all know exists. And it's just a lot to unpack that generations before us have had to deal with. It's an honor, to be able to talk to you and share this time with you today. It really is, and we thank you.
We thank you for having us and appreciate it so much.
Um, it's kind of unprecedented that a payout of money would come before a decision in a criminal situation. When they decide, when the city decided, I don't know, the mayor, the governor, whoever's involved in making that decision, decided to pay you guys for the wrongful death of your daughter. Did you expect it at that time? Was that a surprise to you? Did you expect it to be dragged out longer? How did that come about?
I definitely thought it would have dragged out longer just because of the series of events that keep happening in this thing. It's like it's not dying every time, every corner you turn, there's some new evidence of something else that went wrong. So never in a million years would I have thought that that part of this whole ordeal would be done with 6 months.
To me, that was a tell, right? It was a tell because they wanted the calm. They wanted to, hey, give them some money and hopefully this will go away. So Bianca, you agree with that? You think that this was like, hey, give them some money and maybe these protesters will get out of town and, Tamika Mallory and Until Freedom and My Son, everybody will go away and we could just keep on moving.
Yeah. They've been band-aiding this whole situation, they passed the Breonna's law and then they, like little small band-aids, but nobody's really dealing with the real issue of why Breonna was murdered. So, and until we get that, we're not going anywhere.
I love that. And salute for that. I don't feel, can you guys, do you feel that and Laura, you talk about this a lot, the crime scene report was blank.
It's just something that I will never understand.
Like, how is that not like one of the biggest headlines that a murder took place, multiple shots were fired, a man was dragged out of a house, a woman is laying inside dead, and y'all turned in blank paperwork?
Absolutely. So again, that's another crime. It has to be. Like, it's unreal the things that keep happening. Like, and like she said, you keep doing these little things to band-aid the situation. There's a whole Breonna's law, but you don't want to convict the people who broke those laws.
Right.
Well, I think one of the things that's so telling about that is it shows that fundamentally it's blank. Yes, probably part of that is covering things up and things of that nature. But the other part of it is that they didn't think anything happened. Someone losing their life because they didn't apprehend anyone. They didn't kill who they were looking for. None of their people got killed. So what is there to report? Oh, just the loss of an innocent life.
Well, it's even deeper than that, y'all. It's the fact that they knew they could get away with it. So how many times have they actually done this before? And this is why I firmly believe Daniel Cameron and everybody's covering it up. Y'all allowed some officers to kill someone, fire multiple shots, and turn in blank paperwork. Who do those officers report to? Who saw that paperwork?
And how is this acceptable?
How was this acceptable? Who's overseeing these things? That's the piece that they don't want to have to deal with. Go ahead, Bianca.
I don't know if you recently seen like the PIUs that the reports that's been released, but they released her autopsy, and it was a man that was killed the same day as Breonna, and another person that the police killed that night that no one never heard of. And their information was mixed up. And they put that out to the public. And the mother found that out through the public of that the papers being released.
Wow.
So it's messy. Like, it's nasty. It's unbelievable. And it's like, when you think things couldn't get any worse, it just keeps getting worse.
And I firmly believe that messiness, that like disaster of a fire department and the people who are in charge, I think this goes so deep into their failures and their inability to run their police department. And by the way, I believe that about the NYPD also. I believe that about a lot of police departments. I
A
believe
lot of departments need to, a lot of these police departments need to be completely dismantled. It needs to be reassembled. It's so much wrong in all across the nation. It's, like you said, it's here in New York, it's here in Louisville. We left Grand Rapids, Michigan for those reasons.
really.
How different would you feel if after this had happened, you're still dealing with the tragedy, but the police had come to you, explained what happened, said they had immediately suspended without pay the officers involved, and they were then going to be pressing charges? In other words, if this had been handled the way
Accountability. What you're saying is accountability.
if they had handled it with proper accountability and told you this is what we're doing, there's going to be a trial, this should never happen, et cetera, how different would you feel about this entire thing?
I would, oh my God, like it would be a new day. It would be a new awakening, a new, just the fact to admit that you were wrong, the fact that somebody will be held accountable, the fact that you're even willing to come and talk to me, because still to this day, the police department itself has never spoke to me.
Oh my
Since
God.
that night. So, like, I don't, oh my God, to even think that could happen.
Which seems like such basic human things. You take away someone's child, you would never face them and have a conversation. Like, this isn't some teenager who gets in a drunk driving accident who's 16 years old and doesn't have they run away because they're so scared. This is an actual police department that deals with people's lives every day. That's their job.
Every day. And it's so unreal that these people are still being allowed to practice law, because clearly you screwed this whole thing up. And now we're supposed to trust that you can go back out into the community and hopefully not kill somebody else.
Right.
You guys have traveled to New York City to take part in a rally with our people from Until Freedom. Shout out to Tamika Mallory. Tamika, my son, and many others with the Until Freedom movement have been on the ground supporting Black Lives Matter and the grassroots organizations down in Louisville for the last several months. Now you guys are here, but this time, this is about voting. And this is, I'm sure, in Louisville, you guys are active in the voting process and getting people registered and out to vote, but you've traveled to New York for the same reason. Talk about voting. Talk about why you guys are so passionate about voting and making sure that the community stand up and use the tools that they have at their disposal to get rid of the people in power who are corrupt and abusive.
Yes, it's important. Well, we were working on the Breonna Taylor Foundation, and Tamika thought it was very important that we, even though we're not fully ready, that we get out there and, encourage these people to go vote. And like you said, so this month alone, like we are offering people rides to the polls to get out there and vote. We've been out there helping people register to vote, and we also thought it was important to come here and with the rally here as well. You know what I mean? Because here it is. It was a woman, Eleanor Bumpus. She was murdered in her home over 35 years ago. A mentally ill woman at that. And her family will be at the rally as well, talking about the importance of this. But the reason being is that, it's protesting is great. It really is. It gets a message out there. But if we don't actually take it to the polls, we're not really changing anything, So there's these people in these offices that we've elected as the people to do these jobs. And when they're not doing those jobs and no longer working for us, we have to go back and change these people. So without voting, we will be stuck with these people that don't give an all for nothing. Right.
You was going to say rat's ass.
Right. So, that's why it's important. And if you are standing out here on the ground, if you are sending emails, if you are making calls, you have to vote. So if you want this change and you need this change, you have to vote, because without it, We'll forever, history will continue to repeat itself.
There's going to continue to be Eleanor's and Breonna Taylor's. You know, the cycle's going to continue. So
Everybody join 62nd in Columbus, right here in Manhattan, is where the rally will take place Saturday, 2 p.m. Wear your mask, wear comfortable shoes too if you plan to march, because there will be a march after the rally. I just want to make sure that I give you guys space, Bianca and Breonna's mother, to talk about Breonna's case, because there's a lot of misinformation out there, right, Tamika, about who she was, what happened that night, what the police were doing. So I just wanted to give you guys space to talk about that. Is there any rumors or anything that you guys would love to dispel while you have the audience's attention?
Well, here's the thing with that. So I've learned that people will continue to believe what it is they want to believe. The people that want this to be okay, you can never change their minds. But what I will say is, Breonna was definitely not the person they tried to paint her out to be. And you don't have to take my word for that. The people she worked with will tell you that. The people she went to school with will tell you that. Her friends will tell you that. I don't have to tell you that. But know this, she didn't deserve it. Even if she did, even if she sold drugs, nobody deserves to die for that. But in this case, she wasn't even that person. So there's no way that this is okay.
There was no guns found. There was no drugs found. None of that took place.
No drugs, no money, just the gun that Kenny fired, and because he thought someone
And he was
breaking
licensed
into
to
his
have it.
home.
Right.
Exactly. So there was no laws being broken inside of this home. Period.
Well, we appreciate you both today. And thank you so much for sharing with us. And New York City, go out and join these ladies along with Tamika Mallory and my son Until Freedom, Saturday, 2 o'clock. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, you're very appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you for your strength. Keep going. Keep pushing.
Right.
Take care.
Take care.
Yes.